All right, so you're ready to winter prune your grapes. By pruning your grapes, you are encouraging maximum health and maximum productivity. I'm going to show you how I do this step by step. And it should be noted that these are instructions for table grapes, so grapes made for eating as opposed to grapes made for, say, winemaking. Welcome to True Freedom Permaculture, where I show you all the tips and tricks you need to have a green thumb, even if you weren't born with one. Off to the grapevines we go! Now my grapes are growing up in arbor that my husband made. It's been about 4 years since I planted these grapes, and they started producing a tiny bit in year 2, and in year 3 they really started producing fruit. However, I'm excited for this year because the grapes should start producing higher up on the vine, and they should begin filling up the top of the arbor a little bit more. This is kind of the before. As you can see, I really have my work cut out for me. I have a lot of old and tangled vines. They're all on top of one another, so I really just need to come in and clean this out a little bit. Before I start cutting anything, I'm going to sterilize my gardening shears with a little bit of rubbing alcohol and a cotton ball, and this will just help to keep any bad bacteria or diseases that might be on my shears off of grapevines. And they say you should do this not only before you begin, but before you move on to the next grapevine as well. I'll start from the beginning in case you've just planted your grapes or you're thinking about planting grapes. For each vine, you're going to select 1 or 2 permanent trunks. This is the base or support for your grapevine. Personally, I like to hedge my bets a little, so I chose 2 trunks in case one of them got damaged somehow. Once you've selected your trunks, tie your ribbon or twine, yarn, whatever you're using on them. Here's an example of a grapevine where I had selected the trunks last year and I left the ties on, so it's really easy for me to go back and see which ones I've selected. Now that you've selected your trunks, what you're going to do is take off any growth that you haven't marked with your ribbon or yarn. Don't forget these curly tendrils too. Next, on the stems that you have selected as your trunks, you want to cut them off at the point where the stems start to become thinner than a pencil. So find that area and then cut them off at that point. And loosely secure them to your support, in this case, these beams here. Now it's time to continue the process along the upper portion of the arbor. So again, you just want to find the point where the grapevine becomes thinner than a pencil, cut it off at that point, and remove the grapevine from that point on. You'll want to continue getting rid of any debris or old growth that's on your arbor. Now the vines have been trimmed and everything looks so much simpler and so much less cluttered than before. Stay tuned for part 2, where I will show you how to do step 2, where we designate the cordons on the grapevine, and step 3, where we either spur or cane prune for maintenance.